The sprawling nature of cities is critically important because of the major impacts that are evident in increased energy, land, and soil consumption. These impacts threaten both the natural and rural environments, raising greenhouse gas emissions that cause climate change, and elevated air and noise pollution levels which often exceed the agreed human safety limits. Thus, urban sprawl produces many adverse impacts that have direct effects on the quality of life. Urban sprawl and the development of urban land dramatically transform the properties of soil, reducing its capacity to perform its essential functions. These impacts are evident in the extent of compaction of soil leading to impairment of soil functions, loss of water permeability which dramatically decreases, loss of soil biodiversity, and reductions of the capacity for the soil to act as a carbon sink. In Germany, for example, it is estimated that 52% of the soil in built-up areas is sealed. In addition, rainwater which falls on sealed areas is heavily polluted by tire abrasion, dust, and high concentrations of heavy metals, which when washed into rivers degrade the hydrological system. Mining sports seriously harm the unique geological formations and ecosystems, inflicting inevitable harm to the soil. In this take a look at, the soils from mining regions were characterized by means of high pH, poor soil gneiss, and high stage of hint metals contamination. The reason is that what affects the soil or land also affects every terrestrial creatures. It's a broad question indeed. However, mining can contaminate soils over a large area. Agricultural activities near a mining project may be particularly. This seems very important because anything that affect agricultural activities has indirectly affect human beings in various ways, economic or health-wise, and the population in general. According to a study commissioned by the European Union, mining operations routinely modify the surrounding landscape by exposing previously undisturbed earthen materials. Erosion of exposed soils, extracted mineral ores, tailings, and fine material in waste rock piles can result in substantial sediment loading to surface waters and drainage ways. In addition, spills and leaks of hazardous materials and the deposition of contaminated wind-blown dust can lead to soil contamination. Soil contamination, human health and environmental risks from soils generally fall into two categories. Contaminated soil resulting from wind-blown dust, soils contaminated from chemical spills and residues. Fugitive dust can pose significant environmental problems at some mines. The inherent toxicity of the dust depends upon the proximity of environmental receptors and type of ore being mined. High levels of arsenic, lead, and radionuclides in wind-blown dust usually pose the greatest risk. Soils contaminated from chemical spills and residues at mine sites may pose a direct contact risk when these materials are misused as fill materials, ornamental landscaping, or soil supplements. Pollution of, and increased pressure on water resources caused by mining operations also adversely affects agricultural productivity and significantly threatens food security for nearby communities. Mining activities store and use hazardous chemicals that can leak into the surrounding soil and water systems, harming local agricultural production and food supplies to local communities. In parts of Africa, the situation is not helped by inadequate regulations governing mining dumps and waste management. Operational mines have the potential to raise the cost of living due to influxes of non-local workers that create higher demand for existing products, services, and infrastructure, and put greater pressure on local facilities. These factors feed into supply and demand price increases, making it harder for locals on low incomes to purchase good quality food in sufficient quantities to feed themselves adequately. Mining operations can also cause shifts in the traditional distribution of labor markets as farmers leave the land to pursue work within mining and its associated industries. When the mine closes down, many of these people are not able to return to their previous agricultural work for various reasons, thereby perpetuating permanent reductions in the local food production cycle.